Let's get into the latest Warriors rumors. Oh my goodness, Kristaps Porzingis, could the Warriors trade for him? Well, let's back up a bit and just give you guys the background information, because this is obviously over the last couple of days here. Report coming out that the Mavs are quietly gauging the trade interest for Kristaps Porzingis. Now, Dallas, of course, has come out and strongly denied these rumors, like any organization would, but it wasn't just one report. Bleacher Report reported that they're gauging trade interest. Ian Begley of SNY reported that the Mavs actually reached out to Golden State about a potential Porzingis trade. This is very interesting. Now, the Mavs denied it, like I mentioned. A couple of quotes here we want to show you guys. Mark Cuban, it's not accurate. We haven't discussed him in a trade at all. Has not happened. And by the way, we are not happy that there is a supposed Western Conference executive ripping on one of our players. There is no trade discussion. I think they just used it as a way to put out there what they think of KP. Rick Carlisle doubled down. No trade for Porzingis. There's nothing that's been explored. I know Mark's denied it. I'm denying it. He's a Maverick. We expect him to be here. Look, are the Mavericks actively shopping Porzingis? Probably not. Are they poking around, seeing what he's worth? Probably, and they probably should, because he does have injury history. Now, when it comes to the Warriors, this is very interesting, because I've talked a lot on Golden State Warriors today about, hey, Steph Curry's having an MVP year. Do you make a trade to get him a legit number 2 and try to win this year even without Klay Thompson? That's risky business, but especially with KP and his injury history. But if you got a fully healthy Porzingis next to Steph Curry, that's a team that's going to light it up offensively. Now, defensively, who plays defense in the NBA, right? Like, it's fine. You'll score 125 points per game if Porzingis is healthy. That's the big if now. That's always the big if. Now he's got a stiff back that is lingering all of a sudden. He's only played about half of the games he's been eligible for since getting traded to the Mavericks. But when he is out there, when he is healthy, he is a dynamic and unguardable player in the NBA. This would be a fascinating fit in Golden State. So what do you guys think? I want to get your votes here. Should the Warriors trade for Kristaps Porzingis? Type T for trade, type P for pass. It depends on how much you're giving up. Would I at least explore it if I'm Golden State? Yes, but all in all, this is a tough one to sell because of the injury history. Type T for trade or type P for pass. Now get subscribed to the channel, because the more subscribers we get, the more videos we're going to plug out just for you guys. The latest news, rumors, trades, trade deadline just around the corner as well, mailbags. We do it all here on this channel, so go ahead and subscribe. Just hit that big red button. More subs equals more videos. Ultimately, I think the Warriors should pass. Again, if they can get them for a cheap trade, maybe that changes things, but I just think there's a lot to consider here for Golden State. Number one, do you really think you can make a title run this year without Klay Thompson, even if you get a guy like Porzingis? Probably not. If he's fully healthy, 100%, maybe that changes things if Curry is MVP Curry in the playoffs, but, it's still probably a long shot in a loaded Western Conference. Number two, if you trade for Porzingis, you're committing for the next 4 years, because his contract it's a big one, right? Like $30 million plus over the next 4 seasons. He's probably going to opt into that player option in 2023-24 unless he proves he can be healthy the next 3 seasons, which good start already, right? So I would expect him to opt into that player option. So if you're trading for Kristaps Porzingis, you can't just have this year in mind. Now, the flip side of that would be, well, hey, if it's not just about this year, Curry's back next year, Klay can get back healthy next year. Big 3 of those 2 in Porzingis could be intriguing. The problem with all that, though, is you're punting on James Wiseman in this scenario. I don't think the Mavericks would take a trade for Porzingis with Golden State without this year's number 2 pick. And are you ready to do that? Is Kristaps Porzingis worth a trade to punt on James Wiseman if you are Golden State? I think the answer has to be no. If Klay was healthy this year, balling out, and this was a top 4 or 5 seed in the West, that changes the whole conversation. But that's not the case. And what we've seen from Wiseman so far, he's a high-energy guy that could be a much better player than I actually thought he could be. He's been exciting as hell when he's been out there. It's intriguing. If this was 2K, it'd be fun as hell. It's not 2K. That's not how things work. I think if you're Golden State, you have to pass. That being said, at least call the Mavs and, gauge a price for Kristaps Porzingis. Now, that being said, I say no to KP. But name a player you guys do think the Warriors should trade for, because I'm not saying they should just punt at the deadline. Curry's having an MVP year, and you don't want to waste that, but I don't know about Porzingis. Name a player Golden State should trade for in the comments. Now, we do have NBA jerseys available for you guys at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. You Celtics fans can get this Jason Tatum or other players available at that link as well. But we got jerseys for all 30 NBA teams. Steph Curry and the Warriors. We got alternate unis as well. I love these City Edition ones for the 76ers. All kinds of NBA jerseys available at a good price. Chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. I'll put that link in the comments and in the description. I didn't forget about you, Laker Nation. Trust me, we got you covered. Chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Could Victor Oladipo get traded? NBA trade rumors buzzing around Oladipo. Chatter is heating up, according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, and this makes sense, right? This is something we've talked about quite a bit. The Rockets they're in sell mode all of a sudden now, right? You trade Harden, that indicates what your future is. For a while, they were playing decent ball, but all of a sudden now, losers of 8 straight. This is not a team that's making the playoffs this year, and Oladipo's a free agent after this year. They need to sell him and really all of their assets to try and get as many picks as possible, because remember, the Rockets lost quite a bit of draft capital over the past few years with trades for Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, XYZ. The list goes on and on. Oladipo's getting dealt. Like, if they don't trade Oladipo, that's a massive failure, because he's not going to re-sign in Houston. He's just not going to. He's going to go somewhere else. He wants to play in Miami. He'd much rather be with a more win-now-ready team, in my opinion, and that's just not going to be the Houston Rockets. So if you're Houston, you deal Oladipo, and you get what you can. Ideally, you get at least a first-round pick, but I think you get whatever you can if you are Houston, and a lot of teams will and should have interest for Oladipo. Here are just a few that come to mind. Dallas, can you get help for Luka Doncic? Maybe Oladipo is the right answer. Golden State, we've talked about a ton with the Warriors. Hey, Steph Curry's been awesome, but his usage rate is super high. He's got to be the primary handler and scorer. Oladipo could be that ideal 2-guard that can also be a playmaker as well next to Steph Curry. Knicks, hey, they've been a surprise team this year. You already added D. Rose. You get Oladipo in there into that starting 5. That could be interesting. The Philadelphia 76ers, who've been connected to Kyle Lowry. Oladipo could be another option as well. And then how about Portland? C.J. McCollum's been banged up. Maybe you get Oladipo in there next to Damian Lillard and try to score all the points, because you're not going to stop anybody in that scenario. But no one plays defense, so it's fine. Oladipo is still a good player. Now, the efficiency has waned a little bit this year, especially with the Rockets having kind of a patchwork roster. They don't really fit together, which is why they are likely going to trade him. I think his efficiency numbers would increase on a more, ready-to-win type of team. I'd love to see him in Golden State. Maybe that's a buy a little lower and not a full-out buy at the deadline type of move for a team like the Warriors. Like, hey, we'll throw 1 first-round pick for Oladipo, not the Timberwolves' top 3 protected one, a 2022 or 23 pick. Bring in Oladipo, see what happens. Maybe you re-sign him after this year. Who knows? But I definitely think Oladipo gets dealt. It's just a matter of who he goes to. Which team will trade for him? Because, again, I think he'll get traded. I want to hear from you guys down in the comments. Which NBA team will trade for Victor Oladipo?